I once studied the same 50 words every single day for a week. I felt confident. Then a friend asked me one of those exact words in a real conversation, and my mind was completely empty.
Not slow, empty. Like I had never seen the word before in my life.
That happens to almost every single English learner, and today we explain exactly why, plus what genuinely fixes it.
We are giving you the real reason vocabulary disappears and the techniques that actually make it stick.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. Let's get straight into it.
Today's topic is something almost every learner experiences. Studying a word, feeling confident, and then completely forgetting it later.
It's frustrating, and it can make you feel like something is wrong with your memory specifically.
Nothing is wrong with you. Let's explain exactly what's happening and fix it right now.
The real reason is simple. Recognizing a word and actually remembering it are two completely different skills.
When you study a word on a list, you're only training recognition, seeing it and understanding it in that exact moment.
But real conversation requires retrieval, pulling that word out of your memory instantly, without it being right in front of you.
Recognition is easy. Retrieval is hard. And most study methods only train the easy part.
So here's the first fix. Stop just reading word lists repeatedly. Instead, close the list and try to recall the word from memory alone.
This is called active recall, and it is dramatically more effective than simply rereading.
The second fix is spaced repetition. Reviewing a word after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week, then a month, instead of every day in a row.
Your brain values information more when it has to work slightly to remember it again after some time has passed.
The third fix is using the word in a real, personal sentence immediately, not just reading someone else's example sentence.
For example, instead of just reading "generous means giving freely," say out loud, "My grandmother is very generous. She always helps neighbors." 3 techniques already: active recall, spaced repetition, and personal example sentences. Already enough to completely change how vocabulary sticks in your memory going forward.
Emma, how did you personally learn to actually remember vocabulary rather than just recognize it?
Honestly, it took me embarrassingly long to realize recognition and retrieval were different skills at all.
What changed your approach?
I started testing myself instead of just reviewing, covering the English word completely and trying to produce it from just the meaning.
That's a genuinely different mental process than simply looking at a word and nodding along in agreement.
Completely different. Nodding along feels like learning, but it barely trains the actual retrieval muscle at all.
Let's talk about emotional connection to words, since I've heard that plays a role too.
Absolutely. Words connected to a real emotion or a real memory stick far more easily than neutral, random words on a list.
For example,
if you learn the word embarrassed during an actual embarrassing moment, you will likely never forget it. Compare that to reading it silently on page 40 of a textbook.
that matches exactly what we discussed in our False Friends episode. The embarrassing story made that word permanently memorable.
Precisely the same psychological principle at work. Emotion creates a stronger memory anchor than neutral repetition alone.
What about learning words in isolation versus learning them inside full sentences?
Isolation is much weaker. A word floating alone has no context clues to help your brain retrieve it later.
So learning generous alone is weaker than learning my grandmother is very generous.
Exactly. The full sentence gives your brain multiple paths back to that word. The grandmother, the situation, the feeling.
What about grouping words by topic rather than random alphabetical lists?
Topic grouping helps significantly. Learning kitchen words together or emotion words together creates natural connections between them.
Right, because in real conversation, related words tend to appear together naturally anyway.
Exactly. So grouping mirrors how you'll actually need to retrieve them later in real situations.
How many new words do you think someone should try to learn per day, realistically?
Much fewer than most people assume. 5 to 10 words learned deeply with proper practice beats 50 words skimmed quickly every single time.
Quality of practice matters far more than raw quantity of words attempted.
Completely.
I would rather truly own 10 words forever than vaguely recognize 50 words for one single week.
Let's cover a useful grammar point related to this topic. We often use used to when talking about past habits that have now changed.
For example, I used to just read word lists, but now I actively test myself instead.
Very natural structure for describing how your own learning methods have changed over time.
Extremely useful phrase for anyone discussing personal growth or changed habits in English generally.
What about background music or noise while studying? Does that affect retention at all?
Generally, silence or very quiet instrumental sound works best for actually retaining new vocabulary specifically.
Right. Lyrics in the background can genuinely compete with the words you're actually trying to learn.
Exactly the same principle we mentioned in our music episode. Lyrics distract the language processing part of your brain.
What about learning vocabulary right before sleep? I've heard that's supposedly effective.
There's actually some truth to that. A short, calm review right before sleep can help your brain consolidate that information overnight.
Not as a substitute for real practice, but as a helpful addition to your existing routine.
Exactly. Think of it as reinforcement, not a replacement for active recall during the day.
What about writing words by hand versus just typing them on a phone or app?
Handwriting does seem to help many learners more, likely because it forces slightly slower, more deliberate processing part of your brain.
Interesting. So the extra physical effort itself might be part of what makes it stick better.
Quite possibly. Struggle and effort, within reason, often improve memory rather than harm it.
Let's teach our listeners some useful words from today's conversation itself.
Recall means to remember something, to bring it back to mind.
For example, I couldn't recall the word, even though I had studied it.
Retain means to keep or hold on to something. In this case, information in your memory.
For example, I retain vocabulary much better when I use it in real sentences.
Stick, informally, means to stay firmly in your memory.
For example, that word finally stuck after I used it in a real conversation.
Review means to look at something again, to study it a second time.
For example, I review my vocabulary list every 3 days now, not every day.
And forgetful means having a tendency to forget things easily.
For example, I used to be so forgetful with new words, but spaced repetition really helped.
Recall, retain, stick, review, and forgetful. 5 useful words about memory and learning itself.
Daniel, tell us the full story about studying 50 words and forgetting them anyway.
So this was fairly early in my structured English study routine. I decided to be very disciplined, studying the exact same list of 50 words every single day for a full week.
Very dedicated approach on paper.
It felt incredibly productive at the time. By day 5, I could read through that list and immediately recognize every single word without hesitation.
Which felt like real mastery.
Complete mastery in my mind. Then, that same week, a friend asked me casually, in conversation, what one of those exact words meant. One of the 50 words you had mastered. Exactly one of them. And my mind went completely, totally blank. Not slow, not hesitant, genuinely empty, as if I had never encountered that word before in my entire life.
That gap between reading recognition and real conversation retrieval? Exactly what we explained earlier.
Precisely that gap, experienced firsthand and rather painfully. I felt genuinely confused since I had studied that word just that same morning.
What did you eventually realize was actually happening?
I had trained myself to recognize the pattern of the list itself in that specific order, rather than actually retrieving each word independently from real memory.
So the list had become a kind of memorized sequence, rather than genuine vocabulary knowledge.
Exactly that. Once I shuffled the words or removed them from that familiar list format entirely, my brain had almost nothing solid to hold on to. What changed after you understood this? I started testing myself randomly, out of order, and forcing myself to use each word in my own original sentence immediately after learning it.
And did that actually solve the problem?
Almost completely.
Words started surviving real conversations, not just quiet moments alone with a study list.
What's the core lesson for our listeners here?
Feeling confident while studying alone does not necessarily mean the word will survive a real conversation. Always test retrieval, not just recognition.
Comfort while studying can honestly be a little misleading about your true, actual progress.
Did your friend notice how shocked you were in that moment?
Completely. She actually laughed and said, "But you literally just told me you studied that this morning."
Which made it even more embarrassing in the moment.
Deeply embarrassing, and honestly a little bit funny looking back at it now.
Did that specific word eventually stick after that experience?
Ironically, yes, almost immediately. The embarrassment itself created exactly the kind of emotional memory anchor we discussed earlier.
So the very failure that felt so frustrating actually became the thing that finally made it stick.
Exactly that irony. Sometimes forgetting painfully in public teaches you faster than studying quietly ever could.
Everyone, have you ever studied a word confidently and then completely forgotten it in a real conversation? Tell us in the comments.
And which technique will you try first? Active recall, spaced repetition, or personal example sentences? We read every single comment, and honestly, these forgetting stories are something almost every learner relates to deeply.
If this episode helped you, please like it and subscribe for a new episode every week.
In our next episode, we are talking about small talk with strangers. What to say while waiting in a queue, an elevator, or any awkward silent moment.
Subscribe now so you do not miss episode 28.
Take care, everyone, and remember, test yourself. Don't just reread the list.
Bye, everyone.